Welcome back to Cosmic Comics. Today I'm diving into my favorite comics creator, Nate McDonough. Nate is currently on the cusp of launching the first collected volume of his webcomic series, Longboxes. In Longboxes, Nate takes us on a journey through his career as a comic book flipper. He does this by digging through long boxes one comic at a time, visiting comic shops, and hitting up conventions all across the United States. If you've ever spent hours in a comic shop, you'll find Nate's observations spot on and incredibly relatable. What makes Long Boxes stand out is Nate's raw honesty and his sharp insights into the quirks of comic shops, their owners, and their patrons. He's not just flipping through comics, he's diving deep into the culture, the people, and the eccentric world of comic collecting. It is humorous, and his ideas are often engaging. This is a comic collector's comic through and through. Nate also takes detours into his personal life. I really appreciate how open he's been about his big life changes, like moving across the country to be with the woman he loves. He also shares the joy of having his girlfriend's daughter come into his life and how she inspires him creatively. But above all, what shines through is Nate's deep love, knowledge of, and appreciation for comics. Most of Long Boxes appears as 9 panel strips or has at least settled into that rhythm. Because of this, it feels very much like a classic newspaper comic strip, and I mean that as a compliment in the highest regard. Nate's art style also reminds me of classic newspaper comic strips. Much like the artists of that era, an era that isn't completely gone, every artist strip carries with it a distinct art style. I get the same thing from Nate's style. Once you know it's his work, you can't miss it. It's as unique as Peanuts, Dagwood, Kathy, or any number of instantly recognizable comic strips. If you'd like to give Longbox a try, then check out Nate's Instagram at Grixly, where he posts new comics every week. Or you could check out Nate's quarterly comic, Grixly. Nate started Grixly in 2009 at the age of 21 and filled it with his mini comics. And this is where I should bring up that Nate is a nearly completely self published author. As of late 2024, Nate has published 65 issues of Grixly. That's some serious dedication over 15 years. 12 of those issues came out in the first year, which will be even more mind blowing when I tell you something else here in a minute. Grixly is typically a collection of autobiographical mini comics, but any issue of Grixly can be something else entirely. It's been a space for experimentation where Nate can do whatever he wants to do. Additionally, Nate has contributed to more anthologies than I can keep up with, released numerous one-shots and side projects with other creators, including work with the late Ed Piskor. In an online article from the Comics Journal by Matt Petrus, Nate recalls selling maybe 3 items over his first 5 years of creating and selling comics. Let that settle in. 3 comics in 5 years. Nate says the reason his early stuff didn't sell was because he thinks it was bad comics. As he says in the interview, who's going to go out of their way to order these extremely low resolution, low quality, low print production comics? Just everything was mediocre to terrible about them. It took some amazing perseverance, but Nate stuck with it, made better comics, and has gained popularity over time. Nate has released numerous comics for free on the internet. I'm leaving links below the fold to more than 700 pages worth of material that Nate has released for free. This includes most of Nate's graphic novels and a couple of early issues of Grixly. Whereas Grixly is semi-autobiographical with other mini-comics mixed in and is mostly humorous, Nate's graphic novels are closer to surrealistic horror flavored with the banality and hardships of daily life. I love these longer form works and want more of them, but feel that Nate does his best work in the short form. I think it's where he shines, which is why it's a shame that most of us will never be able to read the early issues of Grixly. There's a quote by Tom Marquette of Philadelphia comic shop Partners and Son in the Comics Journal issue number 310 that really resonates with me. Comics has a history, but so much of even that recent history is inaccessible, if not borderline invisible. This is true of so many comics, and definitely true of Nate's early works. Early copies of Grixly exist, but finding issues of Grixly before issue 51 is almost impossible. Most of these comics exist in print runs of 200 or less, so although Nate has produced thousands of pages of work, I feel like most of it is sitting in the hands of a small number of friends and collectors. Only a small number of people are aware these comics exist, but that number is growing fast. If you'd like to get your hands on the latest issues of Grixly, I recommend going straight to the source. You can join Nate's Patreon for $2 a month and get 4 comics mailed to you every year, plus access to digital versions of Grixly from issue 51 onward. If you're looking for a Patreon that has real rewards, this is it. And Nate has even more cool incentives for those who want to join at $7 a month. It doesn't hurt that Nate is among the nicest guys in comics. I discovered Nate after a shout out from fellow indie comics creator Pat Rook. Since then, almost every time I find a new indie creator to follow, Nate has beaten me to the punch and is already following them. He's constantly liking other artists' posts. So let's circle back to Longboxes Volume 1. This is coming hot off the presses right now. Volume 1 is priced at $20 and will cost you $25.70 with tax and shipping for those of you who live in the United States. This is my #1 recommended graphic novel read for 2024. This is going to be a nice, chunky book. Look at that side view. I've left a link to purchase Longboxes just below the fold. I'm getting nothing from this and have no incentive to push this product, but I think it is an important work. To wrap up, I want to reiterate that Nate McDonough is my favorite comic creator right now. Nobody else is doing what he's doing, and he's doing it all on his own, or at the very least with a small community of supporters he has cultivated around himself. Once you're on the Grixly train, there's no getting off. If I stopped collecting comics tomorrow, I would still be a member of Nate's Patreon because I appreciate the work he's doing in the independent comic space. And like so many people who enjoy comics culture, I only wish that I had run across Grixly sooner. I've provided links to Nate's material below, as well as a list of sources used in compiling this video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this dive into Nate McDonough's work, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. What indie comics are you loving right now? Let's talk about it. Until next time, keep reading and keep exploring. This is Cosmic Comics. I'm out.